Hey, good evening, everyone. All right, good to see you all. I'm going to pass around a sign-in sheet just so that I can know everybody that was here before the night is out. And once again, hopefully this format will help us a little bit in terms of a more intimate environment to ask questions and to get your questions answered. So anyway, we'll start. You just pass that around. Sign in to pass it around. All right, good evening. All right, so we'll go ahead and move forward. All right, so tonight I'm going to kind of bounce around from the PowerPoint, but one of the main things I want to go over on tonight, I'm going to talk about our change from, we use what was called career cruising to the Naviance program. And I know you've received emails and more information about that. And it's kind of the main thing that we're using this year, so I'm going to go over that in a little bit more detail. But once again, I'm going to kind of hit some of the general information that we need to go over and discuss. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do as we move forward is set up a plan for your child, for your teenager. And so we've done that already last year towards the end of the year. We met with juniors, and once again, we set up that Naviance account. And we got them situated into the program. On this year, over the last few days, we've taken them and we've met with them and gone through and tried to make sure that they at least had the process going within the account, make sure that everything was set up, and try to find out exactly where they are. And at this point, I can confidently tell you, we ask kids when we talk about this college process, where are you? Some say, you know, I'm already applied, I'm already accepted. Then we've got others that said, I haven't done nothing yet. So no matter where your child may be, at this point in time, they're not behind. We're still working with them. We're still in a good place. And one of the reasons why we have this meeting is to make sure that we can all get on the same page and get the process going. Now, I know in terms of Berkeley High School, we talk a lot about college. However, we do have other resources for those who are not necessarily pursuing college. We work with technical schools and vocational schools as well. We do have some students that are pursuing the military. But for the most part, about 90% of our students attend college. So about 68% go to a four-year institution, and about 30% attend a I got that backwards. I think I got it right. 68% attend a four-year, and about 30% attend junior college. So for the most part, my presentation on tonight will focus on the aspects of college. Okay. All right, so who can help? Of course, we're here for you. We're a resource for you. And also, we have in the audience, not only as a parent, but also as our transition coordinator, Mrs. Burke is here with her husband. Can you wave your hand, Mrs. Burke? There she is. Okay, and she has come in and taken over as the career transitions coordinator, but she's also working a lot with the college process, handling the college visits that we have, and also the on-site admission process that we have. And I'll talk more about that as we go, so I'm grateful that she's here tonight. Also, there's a lot of resources in the Career Center, some that people don't know about. There's a job book that we keep there. And then there's also information that we use in terms of helping students along with job tips and everything. Okay, and also the teachers are there for them. This year, what's important, and now I'm going to mention this real quickly. A lot of our kids turn 18, and when they turn 18, there is a document that you can sign so that they have permission to call themselves out. You know, they can call in and say that I'm going to be absent. Yeah. So, but I want you to know that you still have the power and authority to say, no, you don't have that ability to call yourself out. You still have that control. Just to give you a little background about myself, also, I just sent my son to college. He finished his first year. He's starting his second year. He went away to Kentucky State University. Didn't like it. He's back at my house. Okay. So I can relate to kind of where you are. I also have a daughter who's 16, and we're in the process right now of sending her to college tours to kind of get an idea of exactly where she wants to go. So I'm right here with you. I'm on the same page and on the same team as everybody else. One thing that we run into in senior year, I'm sure you all heard of it, senioritis. And we've also seen freshmanitis and sophomoritis as well, junioritis. But senioritis, where students get into that senior year, they get accepted, and as a result, they tend to lose focus, okay? And so that's something that we kind of want to look out for. As Mrs. Weiss was saying, when you see certain things, you got certain things going on in your house or whatever, let us know so that we can help you and address that. One of the main reasons we do want to address that now, probably over the past 7 to 8 years, colleges have been more aggressive when it comes to they've accepted a student, and then the student does not maintain a certain academic record. And so we've run into situations where students were accepted, let's say, into the University of Michigan, and then, you know, they're feeling good about the acceptance, and then they let grades go or they lose focus. And then towards the end of the year, we get a letter from them that's saying that their admission has been rescinded for whatever reason. So one of the things that we want to do is try to help our students maintain that focus, that this is a race that you have to finish strong. We want them to finish strong. And also data shows that even when they, you know, before they leave high school, you know, the mentality, the record that they take, they tend to carry that on into college, you know. So we definitely want to help them to stay motivated and finish strong. So we're here to help you all with that. For some students, and probably not for all, not for many, for some students, there's issues in regards to credits. We always admonish our students to make sure that you meet with your counselor, meet with me, make sure that all of the credits are in place. And when I say that, it doesn't just mean for a student that's struggling and failing. There's so many different requirements. Students need to make sure that they have everything that they need. For example, if for whatever reason they were looking to waive gym, because their curriculum was strong, they need to make sure that that documentation is in place for a personal curriculum waiver. Or if a student decided based on their curriculum there was no room for world history, and we were waiving that personal curriculum and other documentation needs to be in place. So even the student that has all A's to the student that's in a struggle, it's always good to sit down with the counselor, go over the credits, make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Okay? And very shortly, if your son or daughter is in jeopardy, you'll be receiving a letter from me that says that this is my concern and this is how we'll address it. For some students, it might be after-school credit recovery, and for others, it may just be a matter of we might need to move a class or something of that nature. But we're going to go through and make sure, number one, that they're going to graduate. Okay. All right. And so once again, obviously you all are here. I'm assuming the big thing in terms of our communication, you're going to get a lot of sky alerts from us for the remainder of the year that say basically what we're doing. And now that we have the tool Naviance, you'll also get a lot of information directly through that program. And once again, I'll go into that more as we keep moving. Now, the last one that says stay relaxed and stay calm. Is anybody concerned, a little nervous about this experience? All right, thank you. Thank you. See, you're not alone. But I can confidently say to relax and stay calm in most situations. I would say 98%. Of course, there's always somebody who wanted to go somewhere. Maybe that didn't work out. But in most situations, we find a level of success. And also, when we look at the college process, it's not just about, you know, getting to this big name college. It's about finding a good fit for your son or daughter. College is not always about the name. And for somebody, a great fit is going to be Princeton. For somebody, a great fit is going to be U of M. But for somebody else, the great fit is going to be Albion, a small school. Or it's going to be some school that nobody knows about, but it's just perfect for your son or daughter. So once again, relax and stay calm. And we'll definitely try to do our best to get you to the next place they need to be. Get them to the next place they need to be. All right, so our next ACT, if your son or daughter is in need of or taking the ACT or wanting to raise their score, the next ACT is 12/12/15, and the deadline is 11/6/15. There's also a late deadline after that, but we like to try to take care of that as much as possible. And also, if your son or daughter took the test, the ACT, when they take the test, they're able to send scores, but a lot of times students are scared to send scores. Like, oh, I'm not sure if they're going to take me if I mess up or if it doesn't go well. That is definitely a falsity in terms of colleges will take the best score. So if a score is not the greatest, they're not going to hold it against them. You know, U of M specifically talks about how they want a lot of information. They want to see a lot, the AP score, see that they made the effort to do certain things. So in relation to that, once again, if a school needs certain test scores, we can send them individually, and I'll go into that a little bit more as we get into our presentation. Yes.
How long does it take for the colleges to get this score after?
I'm so glad you asked that. Yes, it takes about a week. You know, and one thing I'm so glad, the reason I'm glad you say that is because a lot of times when we deal with, I'm going to talk about early action deadlines as we move through. And the early action deadline, normally it's November 1st. Okay. And so a lot of times kids are turning in their applications at the last minute. And then they'll wait to send the scores at the last minute. And then all of their information doesn't make it where it needs to be. So when it comes to those ACT scores, you know, they really want to stay ahead of the game. Matter of fact, this could be the first thing that they're doing, even more so than the application, because we want to make sure that score is there. Okay? All right, thank you. All right, also the SAT test and the SAT subject test. Almost all universities will accept both an ACT or an SAT, depending on you know, how your son or daughter did. Did they do better on ACT or SAT? Certain schools look for SAT 2s, depending on their major. And in most cases, the school would have requested that or will request that. Okay, and in most cases, the SATs 2s are specifically for more of the highly selective schools. Okay. All right, so once again, I wanted to talk a little bit about Naviance and what we've been doing as it relates to our presentations in class. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what Naviance looks like. Uh-oh, it logged me out. Hold on one second. All right, so this is what you all will see, what he sees. And basically, so everything we're doing now goes through Naviance. And the wonderful thing about it, it's kind of this one hub where everything goes. In the past, whenever we requested a transcript, we'd go through another company, you're going through Common App. Now everything flows through this, and it's very helpful not only to myself, but also as well to teachers and everybody who has to write recommendations and other things. So I'm gonna go through it briefly just to kind of show you what the students see. Okay, and so, for example, we go here. Now, this is a list of colleges that the student is applying to, okay? And so at this point in time, Cameron is applying to U of M, and so it appears there. And so we are able to work with him and through Common App. And so he's able to go to Common App, and then from there, he would link Common App. And so based on the fact that it says your Common App account was successfully matched, he has gone in and he has linked the account to Common Application. Now, he doesn't have it on here right now, and I'm going to put it on and take it off a little bit later on. But if there's a non-Common App school, for example, Michigan State does not use Common Application. And Common Application is basically a program where multiple schools, you can apply through one application, multiple schools can apply on one format. But if it's a non-Common App school, we can also link it to Naviance. So let me do that real quick. So under colleges he's applying to, we'll add to the list. I'll talk to you about this. Early action. Mrs. Burke, is it possible that he might apply to Michigan State? Or sweet, let's get it going. All right. He's applying tonight. All right. What the office does. Yeah, we can do it all right now. Okay. My eyes are playing tricks on me. Okay. Okay. So from this format, so we've got on here Michigan State University. It's a non-common app school, and you saw before on the other side, the list, it had University of Michigan that was already there. So what we're gonna do through this, we're also gonna request his transcript as well. Okay, and then, so when we click add colleges, so now that school is also added, okay? Now, the wonderful thing about this is that you all also have a family connection. Do all of you all have your family connection logins and passwords and all of that? If not, it's probably come to you in an email, but we also have those codes to get you set up tonight if you don't have that with you, okay? But once again, so now we have everything in one place and in one format. Okay, so with that being said, if you were interested in finding out more information about Michigan State, you simply click on the link, and it's going to give you a lot of detailed information about Michigan State, phone numbers, places, people that you can reach on campus and whatnot. So it's a really great resource that allows us to link everything together. And in most cases, once again, you only got two different ways to go. Either it's Common App or it's a non-common application school. And so once again, we've got it linked in, we got it set up. Now, for many of your sons or daughters, there are colleges that are constantly coming to visit us, okay? And I had a parent call me today, and she was logged on to her Naviance, and she said, I'm trying to set her up to see this college that's coming. Now, you all don't have the ability as parents to add that. It's up to the student to sign up for college visits. So you will have access to see a lot of what your son or daughter is doing, but you won't have the access to do the application. You won't have the access to sign them up to see a college visit. But I do want to share with you all, just very quickly. So this is a list of all of the colleges that are coming. And so Cameron doesn't know it, but we're getting ready to sign them up to see Michigan State when they come. Okay, so you see, he would simply click on it. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Let me go back. Okay. All right, and so all he has to do is sign up. And once he does that, he is signed up to see Michigan State when they come. Okay, and he'll get confirmation from there. All right. Yes?
When the colleges come to do visits, I was told that some of the application fees are waived if the student applies during the college visit here. Does that apply for all schools or how many?
Okay, I wish. The question was, when a college comes to visit, a lot of times when the colleges do come to visit, they waive fees, and when they do what's called on-site admissions, they will waive fees, but that doesn't always happen. It just depends on the individual college, okay? And I'll talk a little bit more about on-site admissions as well. So once again, this gives them an opportunity to handle everything in one place, from one place to get everything set up for them. I'm glad you mentioned when we talk about on-sites and these college visits, the on-sites basically allow students to apply on the spot to meet with a college rep, and once the meeting is done, the representative will either say they're accepted, they're waitlisted, or they're denied on the spot. Now the difference is when we handle on-site admissions, we tend to handle the paperwork and all of that for that. So the online process is not as useful at that point in time. They will fill out an paper application. We will add their transcript, we will add their test score, and we'll hand that to the college rep. And from there, the college rep will meet with the student, and after they come out of the meeting, once again, they'll know if they're accepted, waitlisted, or denied, okay? And once again, all of that information will be within the college visit process. It'll show you when we're having our on-sites, okay? All right. Okay, now one other valuable piece that we use from Naviance is the letter of recommendation component. Okay, and once again, we want to encourage you all to encourage your students there is a teacher recommendation form that they fill out. And then there's also a council recommendation form that they fill out. And then there is also, let's see here, give me 1 second. Survey history. Scroll down, give me 1 second. Uh-oh, I'm missing it. Give me 1 second, let me go back. Thanks for your patience. All right. Let's see. Uh-oh, I'm in the wrong part. Give me 1 second. Oh, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Transcripts, test score. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so there's also teacher letters of recommendation. And the way this happens is that a student is able to click on and select a teacher that they would like to send their recommendation for them. So once again, everything is here, and all the teachers' names are listed here. And so once they do that, they would write a personal note basically saying to the teacher, I'm applying to this school, X, Y, and Z, or I'm applying for this scholarship, whatever it is. And then they would, from that, it will send out the teacher an email, and then the teacher will respond basically by writing the letter. That email comes back to this platform, and once again, everything is sent from the same platform, okay? So definitely it's a great tool and a great thing to use in terms of everything being in the same place. Okay, all right. So does anybody have any other questions about Naviance specifically? Yes?
Did you just say that when the teacher writes the letter, it's in email format and it's going back to this platform? It's not a physical letter?
Right, correct. It's not a physical letter. It's coming back electronically. Okay, and then through the format that I have, I can see where the letters have come in, and then you can also see, the student can also see when the letter was written, okay, or if the letter has not been written. You know, you'll be able to see all of that. The student is able to see that information.
See the letter?
Not see the letter. They can't see the letter, but they will be able to see that it's done.
But you can see the letter?
Yeah, I can see the letter, yes. I could see the letter. I'm not going to tell you about it, but I could see it. Yeah, so for example, Emmeline, Mrs. Dunkel's daughter, she's applied to multiple places, and her information is all set pretty much in there. So she's got a recommendation for Mr. Gao, and I believe Mr. Weingarten, and they're all visible to see that they're in there. I just added the transcript today, and we'll wrap up the letter. Everything will go out. Okay, now once again, going back though, common application, there's a portion within common application where a student has to waive their FERPA rights. So basically they waive their rights to see the letters and things that we have written for them. When they don't do that though, if they didn't do that, then it won't come into the Naviance program, and then there's not much we can do. If they did decide to waive their rights, of course we can move outside of Naviance and work through paper and pencil and all that kind of stuff, but it really wouldn't be a reason to do that. What we tell the students is whenever you're looking for somebody to write your letter of recommendation, you definitely want to have somebody that you've had a good relationship with, a good experience with, to write that letter of recommendation for you. You know, you don't want to just pick somebody. And a lot of times it's good to have that letter of recommendation written by someone who, you know, maybe it's not a class that you necessarily got an A. Maybe it was a class where you had to prove yourself. You had to work hard to get that good grade, or the teacher learned something about your character and about who you are. So, you know, definitely as they pursue that, they want to be careful in terms of who they ask to write a letter of recommendation. Yes? Oh, okay. All right. If it's somebody that's retired or an outside source, since she was a teacher within the building, that's a little bit different. But she would still email that in. There's a place for her to do that. On Common Application, it's directly through the Common App. Okay, but if she's utilizing this process, it's a little bit different. They would need to probably email me the letter of recommendation, and then I would add it on to the format or to the system. Okay. Anybody else have other questions about Naviance? Sure.
Well, it's not really on the system.
Okay.
How many letters of recommendation do you recommend?
Okay. In most cases, it's 2, sometimes 3, but really no more than 3. But in most cases, 2 letters of recommendation should be sufficient. Should be sufficient. 2 letters of recommendation would be fine. Okay. If you have an unusual circumstance or something of that nature, sometimes 3, 4 at the most. Okay. All right. Any other questions in regards to Naviance when we move forward? Before we move forward. Okay. One thing that we run into with students as it relates to the application, a lot of times students will feel like they're done with the application. They get to the portion where they finished all of the written material, but we need to make sure that the application fees have been paid. Had a girl last year in November, Mr. Beebe, I've turned this in and Michigan State doesn't have my information, and we're going through the application, we're opening everything up, come to find out they didn't pay that fee at the end, okay? So it's very important to make sure that they pay the fee. Also, Mrs. Weiss touched upon the fact that, you know, sometimes financially there's some struggles. A kid may be applying to multiple schools. If a student receives free or reduced lunch, a lot of times we have fee waivers as well, okay? So if there's a need for a fee waiver, you know, if the family has experienced a certain hardship, definitely we can help out as far as that goes, okay? All right. Come back to the PowerPoint. All right. Okay. All right. So I spoke a little bit about this already. We'll keep it moving. I do want to talk a little bit about the admission process in terms of rolling admission, regular decision. In most cases, we encourage our kids to apply what's called early action. I'll talk about that in a moment. But rolling admission basically means that as your application is coming in, I've had some parents who have already applied to Central Michigan, and for those students, they already know if they're accepted. You know, they already found out, because rolling admissions means as soon as it comes in, they look at it, they make a decision, they get back to you immediately. Okay, regular decision, basically you may not hear from the college. You apply now, you might not hear from them all the way up until February, April. The deadline is normally around January 1st or the 15th. Early decision is one that's an agreement that's binding. A lot of times our students who are applying to schools that they're set on going to will utilize early decision. The thing about early decision is that it's a binding agreement. It's a contract. Basically what the student is saying is that if I apply to the school, I'm not applying anywhere else, or I'm willing to withdraw all of my other applications if you say that you will accept me. The only problem with that is that, once again, it's a binding agreement, and so if a student does apply to that school and then they change their mind and decide to go to somewhere else, they can be sued for the amount of tuition because they've signed a binding agreement and a binding contract, and we've seen that before. Early action is the one that we try to utilize most, and this is the one that we want everybody to be on the same page with. Our goal is to have all of our students, or 80 to 90% of our students, already apply, everything in terms of applications already going out by November 1st. Okay, so once again, that means that all the applications are in, all the recommendations are in. We talked about those ACT scores. They're in probably mid-October at the latest. You've already made the request for those ACT scores to go out so that we can get those applications out. The thing about early action is when you apply early action, the school that you're applying to, in most cases, is committed to getting back to you on a certain date or a certain deadline. For the University of Michigan, they say that if you apply early action by December 24th, you will have their decision, whether it's accepted, waitlisted, or denied, okay? But once again, what we also find is that a lot of times kids are stressed out, they're getting papers, they're getting all kinds of assignments, and the faster they can move through this process, the better it's going to be for them, the more helpful it's going to be for them. Okay, because it's one less thing that they have to worry about, one less thing that they have to do. And also, once you're through applying, for many students, now it's time to pursue scholarships. Okay, and you know, I've seen parents and students that were very aggressive about scholarships, and when they do that, they got a reasonable amount of money. But working scholarships can be like a part-time job. You know, I remember a student complaining, "Mr. Beebe, you didn't get me scholarships. If I got scholarships for everybody, you know, sit down, what's your race? What's your nationality?" You know, so it's one of those things where as an individual, as a student or as a parent, you want to be very aggressive in the scholarship process. And before we leave, I'm going to jump back to Naviance because they've got a great scholarship resource within the website. All right. We talk a lot about U of M and Michigan State because a lot of our population pursues those areas. They're not the main schools, but once again, that completion application by November 1st, your notification by the 24th of December. We talked a little bit about Common App. Once again, it's an application pool where basically multiple schools apply. You can apply through multiple schools through one application. So once again, and it links directly to our Naviance program. Okay, so as I told you all before, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, I'll take your question. No, you're fine.
I had a question. She picked the ACT, she had her score sent to 3 schools.
Okay,
So since then, she's picked other schools
okay.
to apply to. So when you do, let's say, Common App, or if they're not on the Common App,
Right.
do you request the ACT when you're applying? Or do we just do that separately?
Okay. All right. Did everybody hear? Okay. Well, some folks. Okay. So basically, when your student or your son or daughter took the test, the ACT test, they had it already sent to 3 different places, and now I believe she's interested in moving to some other places. Okay. So basically, once again, you got to go back through that process of going to actstudents.org. Okay, and I had the website. I'm going to grab it one more time just to show you guys. You go to actstudents.org, and you're going to have the scores sent individually. All right, I'm just going to take a moment to grab that real quick. Okay, so once again, you will go to the website and basically send your scores, and then you can go ahead and have those scores sent. They're $12 a piece. Also, for some students who are not exactly sure about their scores or whatever, there's also a place where they can log in and view their scores as well. Okay, but once again, this is one of the most important parts of the process, so you want to make sure that that is getting done, that is happening. Oh, you're welcome. Okay. All right. So once again, oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Do I have to submit the scores through the ACT, or is that all going to be done by?
Okay. Once again, if it's an on-site admission process, it's different than, you know, kind of everything else that we've talked about. It's kind of like in-house, at home. So we'll handle the whole process of having your scores there. We'll have your transcript there. It's all done for you. You'll just have to complete the paper copy of the application. Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. So once again, in terms of applying for scholarship, one thing I don't have on here, a couple of websites. There's a website called CapEx. That's, if you got a pencil paper, it's CAPPEX, CapEx.com. That is a great scholarship site. When you apply, you'll see the scholarships. It will list them, and it will tell you the number of students that have applied, your possibility, the possibility for you to get this scholarship. So that's a really great website. Also within Naviance, there's a scholarship search right in there. And then I want to show you one thing on that platform. All right, so basically under the Naviance platform where it talks about scholarship list, these are the scholarships that are coming to us. They're in-house, okay? And so these are the scholarships that are here, and you know, works pretty much the same in terms of it shows you the amount of the award, whether it's merit-based, need-based, and that's all listed there. You can click on there. If anybody can get the Gates Millennium Scholarship, that will help you. That will help you. My niece got that. Full ride, all 4 years, also in graduate school. So she's getting her doctorate now. So there's a lot of different scholarships that are out there, but once again, you have to apply. You have to be aggressive about the process in terms of finding those scholarships. It was capex.com, www.capex, C-A-P-P, I believe it's ex.com, ex.com. And then since I got you here, it's also one called FastWeb, www.fastweb.com. As I told you, my son just graduated. I know these sites, and we were able to get some scholarships, so. It's www.fastweb.com. Also, if you go on to just the regular counseling website, there'll be a tab for scholarships, and those sites that I named will be under there. Okay, so our website is also a great resource for you.
The Berkley Counseling.
Yep, the Berkley Counseling website. Yes. Okay. All right, let's pick it up here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to be having more workshops and whatnot. November 17th, Paying for College Night. That is with representative from Oakland University who will talk about the financial aid process and exactly what you need to do in order to fill out the paperwork correctly and accurately. I'm seeing a lot of parents who are on their second child or third child, so for some of you, you already know what to do. Then we've also added a FAFSA completion workshop where we go through with you. You know, you can bring in your documents. Of course, we're not looking at your confidential documents, but you can bring it in and work on it in-house, and we'll help you as well as a representative from Oakland University. And then lastly, March 29th of next year, we'll also do the award letter workshop where we go through and kind of help you all decide and decipher, how this award letter breaks down. There's a difference between grants, scholarships, and loans. And so, you want to, look at that and see exactly where that money's going to go and how you're going to pay for school. Okay. All right. So I've already covered most of this. Apply. I've covered most of that. Oh, there we go. Okay. So once again, those are some of the scholarship sites. School Soup, as well as www.scholarships.com. I'll give you a minute to write that down. I want to add schoolsoup.com and scholarships.com. All right, and once again, we just kind of added a timeline here to look at in terms of admissions. September through January. We really don't want students going past January. However, students will sometimes find a college later through visiting and other things. So So September through January. January 6th, January, you receive information, admissions decision. And then what we want students to understand as well, when it talks about a student being accepted into a school, in most cases, come May 1st, a student will have to make a decision exactly what college they want to go to, and they make that decision by paying their room deposit, okay? And so we've had incidents, once again, where folks did not, they waited till the last minute, and they did not put in their room deposit, and they lost their place at a certain college, okay? So very similar to the ACT scores and whatnot. If you need to make that decision, you need to definitely go ahead and pay that room deposit. Okay, and this is just a breakdown. Also, this PowerPoint will be on our website probably first thing in the morning. So once again, this is just kind of a breakdown to help folks schedule kind of around the holidays to know exactly what they need to do, okay? And once your son or daughter is accepted, we will need to send out final transcripts, and that is not something that just happens automatically. Your son or daughter will have to come in and say, or through Naviance rather, request that final transcript to be sent out. Okay. All right, so I think most of you have already liked the Facebook page. When I say that to the kids, they all laugh at me. I guess they're on Twitter and Instagram and everything else. But so definitely like the Facebook page. You'll get a lot of great information. And then also, if you're not already on Family Access, you can definitely still sign up to do that. We also have, once again, the codes for Naviance here. If you're not able to log into your Naviance, we have all of that here today. And then lastly, when we deal with college visits, I shouldn't say last, I got a few more slides, but lastly, when we deal with those college visits, if your son or daughter wants to visit a college, they are excused for the day. So, if they need to go or they feel like they need to go, because this is probably one of the biggest decisions that they're going to make in their life. So they're definitely excused to go and visit a college. Just hopefully you find a good time where they're not taking tests and whatnot. But that will be excused from our offices and whatnot. Okay. All right. So once again, this PowerPoint will be on our website. So these sites are there. The U University is a great site for college tours, like virtual tours where you can kind of see the college. They've got a kid walking around with a camera, and for those places where a kid thinks they want to go, but they've never seen it, they've never been there, that's a great site for that. Okay. All right. So lastly, we want you all to evaluate our program on tonight at 8 o'clock. It's already there. There's an evaluation for you to fill out and speak on how what you got out of tonight, if you enjoyed the format, if you didn't. And then lastly, over here on this right side, and Mrs. Miller and I will help you, there is a set of cards that have your son or daughter's name on it, and that spelling of the name is what's going to appear on the diploma. Okay, so definitely want you to come and find that and look at it and make sure that the name and everything is correct, and you're welcome to take that with you. Lastly, I feel like I know many of you all, especially over these 4 years, so if you would like to meet with me individually, you're definitely welcome to do that. If there's questions about anything at any time, you're welcome to call, you're welcome to send an email. I'll definitely help you as much as possible. And if I don't know the answer, I'll go get the answer. So with that being said, I'm pretty much wrapped up for the night. At this point in time, I'll take any questions from the audience.